What's up, Star Trek fans? This is Star Trek Late Night, and we've got the the bridge crew of the Titan. It's come out today via Terry Matalas on Twitter. Lovely bunch of successions of tweets on the bridge crew, and we're going to use TrekCore.com as the reference, though, to these characters, and look at their article, which you can check out on the blog.trekcore.com. And Terry Matalas' tweets on Twitter as well. We have a look at the bridge crew, of course, right now. We have a good idea about just, who Captain Liam Shaw is for the most part, kind of. We've seen a lot of him in the trailer stuff. He's kind of funny. I like it. Todd Stashwick playing Captain Liam Shaw. He is the captain of the Titan, former engineer with a long history within Starfleet. I find that very interesting. He is very kind of engineer-like, so I get that. Has a little bit of a quirkiness and flair and comedic side to him, it seems like. He may also have a bit of a kind of check the boxes, that's not what I'm trying to say is he maybe by the book a little bit, or, I don't know. I don't 100% know, but anyway, I like the casting. This guy seems very interesting. Whether he's going to be good or not, I don't know, but he seems pretty good in the trailer, and I know Todd's kind of a Star Trek fan and buddies with Terry Matalas, so there's that's a cool hire. We all know 7 of 9. A little bit weird that she wasn't allowed to be in Starfleet, and now in Season 3 she suddenly is a commander. That's a little ridiculous, but then again, she really should have never not been allowed in Starfleet anyway, so I pretend the first 2 seasons of Picard didn't happen. So if you pretend the first 2 seasons of Picard didn't happen, this would make perfect sense to you, wouldn't it? So if you never saw Picard Seasons 1 and 2, and you heard that Star Trek TNG Returns is coming out, and 7 of 9 is the first officer on the Titan, you would say, oh, yes, of course, that makes sense. So this does make sense. Good job on that, Terry Matalas and everybody else. Commander, 7 of 9, who joined the service following Admiral Picard's field commission in Season 2. 7 was placed into an accelerated Starfleet program against her own judgment, says Matalas, indicating she may not fully be comfortable in her new role. So that's interesting that they sort of played that in there. So that kind of answers my question. I was just talking about that, and there it is. So love it. 7 of 9 in as the first officer. Love it. And then we have a Vulcan here, leading science and operations officer, Lieutenant Tavine, a Vulcan who serves as the Titan's official science officer. Several captains fought to have her on their bridge, said Matalas, but the Titan won. I am a little concerned that, everybody here is going to be, super overpowered. I've already read these once to my own earlier, but I don't remember everything. But I remember thinking, I hope everybody's not, super-duper overpowered, that sort of thing. Everybody had to have this Vulcan, this bald female Vulcan, But no, interesting. We'll see if we like the character. I mean, look, a lot of what we're doing really is just this quick backstory and looks. It's hard to say anything really that much about a character's looks, because who cares, So I noticed that there'll be a little bit of a debate as far as the sort of some fans who I also want to throw this out there really quickly before I get any more deeper into this. There's going to be a little negativity out there from some people who are going to be like, oh, this is woke trash, and then there's going to be the other people who say that's what Star Trek is. Deal with it, I wish you guys would stop fighting like that together. I wish you would come together and just realize there's so much, annoying woke stuff out there that the people on the right are super triggered by anything that's progressively, woke like that. And just understand that they're just had enough of it. And a lot of people have had enough of it. Do you know what I mean? And then I wish those people who are triggered, probably more right-wing leaning people, would realize that, hey, man, this is Star Trek. Don't think everything is woke trash or crap. It's just progressively open-minded like Star Trek has always been. So don't get that upset about it. Yes, sometimes, certainly Discovery has done certain things, like putting political people in the show that are just and kind of being annoying. And also they've thrown it in your face instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of introducing it to you in a way that Star Trek usually does, by inviting everybody into the conversation. Recent Star Trek beats you over the head with stuff, which is not the way to do things. So understand that I would like the two groups of you to come together, because I don't see anything wrong with this cast. So I just want to get that out of the way really quickly and say that I think we should all agree that this seems fine. We don't know how these characters are going to be. They could be terrible, great, awesome. They could not have a lot to do in the show. I don't know. We don't know anything yet. Don't fight. Stop fighting over this stuff yet. What are you doing, guys? Come together, man. Because guess what? All kinds of different people always have loved Star Trek, and that's the great thing is it brings everybody together. So why would you get upset about stupid stuff? You know what I mean? I guess I'm being yelled at. My food's done or something. So, come together. I want everybody. I know I'm interrupting this sort of overview of the crew to throw out this public service announcement about, come together, man. Right wing, left wing, middle ground, which is more where I am. Come together and give each other a big hug, and only then will we all be able to talk out our stuff and then create a middle ground where we all agree and become whatever the fuck. I don't know. Anyway, my preaching's over. It was just sort of to try to be like, hey, take it easy, guys. But anyway, so she is Vulcan science officer, probably super smart, super analytical. She's a Vulcan, so there you go. You know how Vulcans are. This guy looks kind of cool. The ship's weaponry is controlled by Lieutenant Matthew Arliss Murrah. And despite his distinctively human-sounding name, Matalas has confirmed that Lieutenant Murrah is Bajoran. Oh, he is Bajoran. I see the ridges on the face. Okay. Wow, I didn't even notice that until it said that, and then I looked. Wow. Wow, he is Bajoran. Yeah. Okay, so Bajor being repped over here. So that's cool. Then we have Ensign Kova Rin Esmar. I may be saying that wrong, but and this is kind of what I'm talking about with overpowered maybe, but also a linguist and somebody involved in sort of language and stuff like that, is going to be sort of somebody who is smart with that. The Titan's communications officer. Now, in TNG and even in, the TNG era stuff, we didn't really get the Uhura character and the communications officer. You know what I mean? This is almost interesting that it's almost like it's back. It really hasn't been there in a while, I don't think. We've had just ops and engineers and people like that. But it was always my understanding that the universal translator situation was so good at this point that we just didn't even need someone to distinguish all these languages. They just had it. It was so good. And that's what I always explain to myself, why we didn't see a Uhura type of character or somebody like that in the TNG era time. But I guess we have one back. We're back to those again, which is fine. And some ships may have them, some ships may not. And maybe the Enterprise and other ships, did have people that could do that. It just wasn't really brought up much. And a lot of people were capable of kind of playing that role, or doing that on the ship. I don't know. But this doesn't bother me. Speaks and serves as Titan's communications officer. Per Matalas, Esmer speaks over 72 languages, and they graduated at the top of their class. Oh, so that's a they-their thing right there. So that's that's the type of thing that's going to get people fighting, like, oh, the woke, whatever. But obviously this is sort of a different race, an alien character. So in their species, what I'm guessing potentially is that their species may not be female and male. Their species may actually be sort of non-binary. So that could be their species, which, by the way, is a good example. If that's the case, and I'm assuming things here, but if that's the case, that's a wonderful way to introduce people to the non-binary stuff and the they-them. Because in Star Trek, you would sort of have to say they-them because this person is an alien and their species doesn't have a female or male race, assuming that's what is going on here. And that would mean that you would have to sort of call them they-them. And so then you're sort of forced to do that, but it also makes sense scientifically. And what that does to some people who don't want to recognize or don't agree with the new the gender pronouns of today's whatever is going on, those people are sort of they sort of have to face it in a way that makes them question it a bit, or maybe allows them to be introduced to it in a way that's different, that's not beating you over the head with it. Now, some people are going to cry foul that this is beating you over the head with it. It's not. And listen, trust me, I will tell you, I hate crap like that beats you over the head. I'm not a woke person. I hate all that crap. I'm certainly progressive and like, you know what I mean? I'm into like everybody loving everybody and getting along and being who they are and being respectful of everybody in a way, but I'm not some woke idiot who follows this weird trend of whatever's going on and whatever. But this is the right way to do it. You know, so if that's the case, I may be assuming things. This may not even be what we're talking about here, but I'm just assuming. And that if that's the case, that's a great way to introduce that, I guess. And that's the only. And there we go. So we'll just move on from there. I like to cover all these bases because I can hear the people's complaints. I can hear some people. And by the way, I'm cringed out by everybody. I'm cringed out by the people who are like, oh my God, it's woke and stupid. And then the people on the left that are like, finally, yes, yay, oh my God. Like, dude, you're all psychos as far as I'm concerned. Now, like, just relax. Like, just everybody is obsessed with, like, representation and the stuff. Like, stop it. Just allow Star Trek to be Star Trek first, and along the way comes a little bit of introductory into some progressive ideas. Just do that. That's what Star Trek's always been. Do that. Don't beat people over the head with it, and don't overly complain about it that there's something wrong when there isn't. In this case, there isn't to me. So up next is, this is awesome. LeVar Burton's actual daughter is going to be on the show. But then one of his, is it one of the girls? One of the girls is playing his daughter, is an actress. And the other girl that's playing his daughter is an actress, but also really his daughter. So we'll find out about which one's which and who's who later. This is not his real daughter, I don't believe. I think his real daughter stayed back to be an engineer, I think. So helmsman, Ensign Sidney LaForge, the casting first announced way back in New York Comic Con, one of Geordie LaForge's two daughters. Sidney didn't want to build ships like her sister, who's building ships. Alondra, who we will also meet in Season 3, she wanted to fly ships. So that's what the little tagline here says. So love it. Love that Geordie's daughter's involved. There seems to be a big theme of family this season. We're going to see a lot of family and some, I don't know. I really, 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 despite the fact that I really loathe Seasons 1 and 2 of Picard, I don't know, man. I'm skeptical, but, I just can't wait to find out if I should end myself or if I'm going to be very happy. Or maybe I'll just be in the middle, and I'll be like, that was all right. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to feel about Season 3, but there it is, the crew of the Titan, as we will be introduced to them, at least at the beginning, it seems like, of the season of Picard Season 3. We get a Vulcan, Bajor. We get a family member of LaForge, the daughter. We have some kind of alien linguist, communications officer. We have 709 as first officer, and we have the captain, who seems like a pretty fun dude. Whether he will live long enough to be at the end of the season, I don't know. If this guy ends up being by the way, he was great in 12 Monkeys. He really was great in 12 Monkeys, guys. If you have not seen 12 Monkeys, that's the one thing I'll say, man. Terry Matalas did a great job with 12 Monkeys, and Todd Stashwick is great. And that's the one thing I can tell, I almost can feel, is that we're gonna like this guy. We might like hating him. We might love hating him. We might hate him, and we might hate him and love hating him. I don't know. So much, but I don't know how long he'll last. He feels like a character that's going to expire at some point, but we'll see. And if he's really good, and he does die at some point, he may be like a live forever in meme lore of Star Trek. So there you go. What do you guys think of the bridge crew? I think it's an interesting group of people for the bridge crew. Jesus Christ. Am I having a stroke? The bridge crew of the Titan. In this, we don't necessarily know if these characters are ever really going to be on a show together or have their own show or anything like that. But this season, they will be involved in Star Trek Picard Season 3. And, maybe some of them will be involved in later shows and things, potentially at some later time. But it could also be a bit of a throwaway for most of it, so you don't know. But at least we get to kind of see this makeup of the Titans crew. If Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's really nothing more beyond that I can say. Is we're really just judging people on their little bit of a tidbit of a background story and their looks. And I think everybody looks great in the uniforms and seems pretty cool. And there is potentially a lot of personality going on here, maybe. But will it matter at the end of Picard? If several of these people die or move to some other ship, I don't know. So is it even worth that much discussing? I don't know, but it does give us something to discuss today. What do you think about all these choices? What do you think about the captain, Captain Liam Shaw? 7 of 9 looks great. It's great to see her in the uniform. And that's it. We'll have some more videos here on Star Trek Late Night next time. Just leave me your thoughts below if you saw this, and let me know what you think about the upcoming Picard Season 3. Here's some other videos popping up right now that you might have missed on my channel. Binge them and subscribe if you guys can't help out. More Star Trek videos coming daily.